So Adobe asked me to make a 30-foot mural for the LightBox Expo.
You don't put yourself out and know that you...
No pressure, right? Just a massive wall in the middle of a convention center. And the even crazier part, I made the whole thing in a free app on my iPad. Apparently, you can make something the size of a small house while sitting on your couch. What a world. So the brief from Adobe was pretty open. They wanted to promote Fresco's new pose feature for the mural. So they basically said, make it a jumble of characters with wiggly arms and legs, which is basically my entire artistic personality, so nailed it. If you don't know about the pose feature, it allows you to grab sections of your drawing or the whole drawing and just move it around like it's a tiny puppet. It's pretty magical, kind of blew my mind. It doesn't use any AI, it's just some complicated physics mesh. It's pretty amazing, and it also works with vector art too. If you want to, I'll link a video, but after this one. We got to move on. Right off the bat, I knew I was going to go full chaos mode, jamming as many little characters as I could into the composition. This would serve 2 points. It would do a great job of showing wiggly characters for pose, and would also serve as a way to take the pressure off of me doing one cool character. Just do lots of little characters, and then people could be like, look at all these characters, as opposed to being like, this monster is poorly drawn. I don't need that in my life. So just because the mural is showing off Fresco, it doesn't necessarily mean that would be what I would do the work in. For example, when I've done work for Microsoft, I did it on my Mac. Is that an example? Or like when I worked with McDonald's, I didn't do my illustrations in Ketchup, if you catch up my drift. It just so happens that Adobe Fresco is the perfect application to do this kind of thing, because you can draw naturally in vector brushes, and vector is sort of like a super brush that allows you to zoom infinitely without losing any resolution. It's like drawing with math that's constantly recalculating to make sure your image looks perfect at any size. I figured it would also be a great opportunity to stress test my vector texture pack that I've been using for a while, but I haven't tried to print it as something this big. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that it holds up when it's massive in front of an audience of other artists who will notice anything looking bad and probably point it out. So obviously I can't put the physical dimensions for the size into Fresco because the file would be astronomical and Fresco wouldn't allow it anyway. I'm just going to choose an aspect ratio that is the same, and then it can just get scaled up because it'll be vector, so there won't be any concern about image loss. In addition to the dimensions, Adobe gave me information about a big kiosk that's in front of the wall that I need to account for. And also there's going to be a QR code that's going to get placed in the mural so that people can scan it to download the Fresco app. And then I need to include a space for my name. So I got the dimensions for that stuff and then just made some rectangles and placed them into my document with like a transparency so that I could just reference them. There's obviously flexibility with my name and where that goes, and then where I want to place the QR code thing, but it needs to be roughly in that area. So with those in place, I'll basically just sketch around them as I'm coming up with the mural design. I mean, this is literally for the LightBox Expo. It's going to be filled with people who are better than me. What am I going to make? What if it was like wiggly, really long wiener dogs? Their limbs are short, but their bodies, you could like pose those around. I mean, I guess that's not really what they asked for, but I mean, that's a pretty good wiener dog. What about centipedes? They got lots of legs. I absolutely don't want to draw that. And what, like centipedes for a mural? That's a terrible idea. What am I gonna do? But there has to be a lot of things and they have to all fit together in a nice way. So I need something that will allow some variety. Like all different kinds of things like monsters. Actually, Halloween is like the day after or the week after Lightbox. So we could do a Halloween theme and do like all different kinds of monsters, and then it could be like costumes, just like Halloween vibes. That's sort of perfect because then I could also lean into that for like a color palette with like the oranges and Halloween stuff. There's endless possibilities for that. Let's go draw the most perfect jumble of Halloween stuff that has ever been drawn in the history of the world. Or just something that I feel okay about. So once I settled on the Halloween concept, things started to go a little bit smoother. I just started like brainstorming character designs and just started like doodling different things, different kinds of monsters, Frankenstein, Dracula, bats, ghosts, pumpkins. We could put some candy in there. I know a lot of people are curious what it's like working on big projects like this, and honestly, it's not as scary as it sounds, especially when you have a client that actually trusts you, which was the case in this situation. Adobe gave me a ton of freedom here. I sent over a few different sketches, and they were basically like, cool, go wild, which is amazing, but also a little bit terrifying. But that's the dream, I guess, right? When a big client hires you for your weirdness. I mean, I never thought that was gonna happen. Because drawing weird monsters and skulls and I guess general Halloween stuff is something that I've been doing my whole life, I thought I would tap into some old stuff that I did to sort of not have to just completely come up with new things since I was putting so much pressure on myself. So I took some past drawings that I'd done and used those as a little bit of a starting point to sort of just get things into my composition and just kind of move things around and just tried to get something on the page to just move forward and not feel paralyzed by all of this empty space. I don't know if you know this might be a pro tip, but you can steal from yourself. It doesn't count as stealing when it's your own stuff. You've built this archive of drawings and things that you've made, and they're ready to come help you out when you need them. My process for this one was a little bit different because I started semi-tightening things up as I was drawing. I think because I was worried that I just wanted it to be really good, so I was just trying to make things fit together because the space that was left over from how things buttered up against each other would determine what could go in the other space. Eventually, I had the full composition filled with characters for the most part, but there was just something about it that didn't feel fully there yet. And at that point, I decided to take what was pretty much a finished drawing and use that as a new starting point. So I just started drawing again and just adjusting things slightly, giving things a little bit more of a loose movement. Looking back at it and watching this process, it is very subtle, but for me, it felt like it was a big difference. I was also having fun doing it at this point. There was a stage in the process where I was feeling a little defeated and like it wasn't going to be as good as I wanted it to be. But when I started drawing it again, I could play and have more fun, and then make little tweaks, like giving that little skeleton a little beverage, and then just adding in little details to just fill the space and make it flow together in a better way. I continued with the slightly irregular process for the way that I work by deciding to tighten up a section of this and start to introduce color. I felt like I needed to see at least part of it almost finished so that I would know if there were things that I needed to change before I spent all the time doing the line work for everything else again. Seeing this little section in color made me feel more confident to move forward and just bang out the rest of it. When you're drawing something that's going to be printed the size of a building, even tiny mistakes become less tiny. So once all that stuff for my sketch was done, there were still some spaces that needed some things. So I just tried to improvise some more Halloween-y things. I started pulling in more letterings, adding in little supportive element to fill awkward spaces like pieces of candy, a little angel apparently. And then when I was trying to think of something to put in that top corner, I thought, this is to promote Fresco and the new pose feature. Maybe I should put Fresco in here and turn it into a little character. So I just put the icon in here and then traced over it to match the other characters, put in a little speech bubble, and put in the word pose because that's the new feature that they are promoting. Once the color and line work was in a good place, the next step for me was to add a little bit of grit and texture to this using my vector shapes pack. I used it to provide some texture on clothing or just like patterns on some of the monsters just to give a little bit more visual interest. After the texture, here, I just went in and added a little bit of shadow just to make everything pop a little bit more, just give it a little added depth. Fast forward to LightBox Expo in Los Angeles, California. Or I guess it's actually Pasadena. It's sort of the same. Walking up to this big convention center, it's all glass in the front with all these doors. And through the windows, I can see pieces of my mural. I had no idea that my mural was the main entrance, like right when you walk into the LightBox Expo was the first thing that you see. Obviously knew the size when I was working on it, but the numbers were sort of abstract until I was face to face with this mural, and it was massive. It was very big, huge. And I'm sort of glad I didn't know it was the first thing you see when you walk in, because that would have made it even more scary. But I am very happy that I obsessively went in and made sure all of the lines were perfect, zooming in on each and every little mark, because those little details really stand out when they are the size of a car. Honestly, it was all pretty surreal. Seeing people posing and taking pictures in front of it, incredible. Just like crowds walking by and like glancing over and staring at it. It's just, and it was an amazing experience. And those vector textures held up beautifully. Let me show you some footage up close and personal. Printed bigger than me, they look perfect. If you ever were interested in getting my vector texture shape library, I feel like this is a good proof of concept, if you will. I've had my work printed at this scale for other projects in the past, but anytime it's ever been this big, it's been something like a billboard, at least something that is at a distance where you can't walk right up to it and see the detail. This was a totally different experience because it was the size and scale of a giant billboard, but also one that you could be face to face with. I think one of the coolest things about this is you don't need some super fancy gear or some expensive apps. I made this entire thing in a free app with brushes and textures I made myself. That's kind of crazy to me. I mean, it's kind of inspiring, right? If you got some idea rattling around in your head, maybe take this as a sign that you should go and do it. You got what you need. Go make something. Making weird stuff without people asking is how this project even came to be. I've just been posting weird stuff, and eventually it got in front of people who wanted to hire me for it. Seems a little too good to be true. And I know there was a lot of luck involved, but you never know. Your weird drawings may end up 30 feet tall in a convention center. I'm super proud of how it turned out. Adobe was really happy with it. I didn't hear anyone say any bad things about it. I didn't see anything on the internet, so I'm going to take that as a win. You can let me know in the comments if you think it's stupid. If you like this, hit subscribe. I don't know if I've said that in at least a year. But are you subscribed? If you're not, I got plenty more art chaos coming. I make new videos every week. I do live streams on Fridays. Did you know that? Thank you to Adobe for trusting me with this monster project. If you're here and you don't know about this pose feature, check out this video because it is crazy. And again, there's no AI, no matter what some people in the comments on that video will say. I talked to the developers and they showed me the back end. There's no AI in there. All right? It's just not. It's not AI. There's a lot of AI garbage everywhere. Adobe is guilty of some of it, for sure, but not in Fresco. The Fresco team is not using any AI. They're a little group of great people that I got to spend a lot of time with at LightBox and then at Adobe Max. Delightful people. No AI. All right. Good talk. I'm going to go take a nap. Thank you. Did you know I have a Patreon? Official Piascik tier patrons get their name drawn and included in all the videos I make while they are active members. I had the graphic up a little while ago. That's what that was. I even posted a special behind the scenes video for them from my hotel room showing all the cool stuff that I got when I was at LightBox. Okay. Why don't I ever know how to end these things? Because I don't plan. Yeah, I know I don't plan, but